Hey family, this is Pastor Jonathan from New Hope North Community Church in North Las Vegas, Nevada. Thanks for joining me in this installment of Pajama Pants Preaching. You know, I read something on the internet from an unknown author that said that we shouldn't tell people that we're all in the same boat because we're not. We may be in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat. And that really got me thinking, because it's really true, isn't it? Some of us are in a boat through this pandemic storm that is maybe a little bit rocky, but basically doing fine. We're cruising along fairly smoothly, and life hasn't changed all that much. Certainly there's not a lot of rocks ahead. It doesn't look like things are going badly financially. But for others, the boat that they're in is in very treacherous waters. Their financial future is in question. They're very afraid of that. They're spending maybe long parts of their day in food lines. They don't know when or where their next paycheck is going to come from. Their bills are piling up, not to mention those, of course, who have gotten sick, or even loved ones who died from this coronavirus. So although as a country, as a world, we're in the same storm, we are definitely not in the same boat. And so that means that we should be kind to people, not thinking that we're all in the same situation. Remembering that some people are very frightened. I mean, look at how people are responding by hoarding food, toilet paper, and protesting. These are responses that are out of fear, and we need to remember that people are dealing with the situation that they very personally are having to deal with. And the fact that people are scared, even Christians who are scared about what's going on, that does not make them bad or unchristian, or even doesn't mean that they lack faith. But that it's a human emotion, and we can look at that. Even look at the disciples when they were in a boat with Jesus. Jesus was asleep, and a huge storm came. In fact, they were convinced that the boat was going to sink and that they would all drown, and they were terrified. Woke up Jesus, and he calmed the storm, which did not make them any less afraid. In fact, they were afraid about what was going on. How did Jesus do this? And we need to remember that some of us are in a boat with Jesus, and that is a great thing. We need to trust him, even at times when it appears that he's quote unquote asleep, that he's not paying attention or not caring about what's going along or on in our situations, because none of that's true. And so we need to be very caring and remembering that Jesus is with us. But for some of our friends, our neighbors, they're in a boat that they don't see Jesus, they don't know Jesus, they don't believe that Jesus is with them. And that in and of itself can make this storm even more scary. The other thing we need to remember too is, as we know, after a large storm comes, what happens when the storm starts to calm and we go outside for the first time and look around, there's devastation. Sometimes look at these situations where there's big tornadoes in places like Oklahoma or Kansas or other places in the Midwest, or hurricanes on the East Coast or the Gulf Coast, and you see the photos and the video of all this devastation. Well, this storm is not going to be any different. There is going to be some financial, economic devastation in our country, in the world, and it's going to be a long time before we get everything cleaned up. And that devastation is going to affect some people more than it is others. We've all seen that video where, for example, a tornado rips through one house and tears it to shreds, where the house right next door is left without any damage at all. And that very well may be a picture of what we may see some weeks or months from now. And as a community, as the family of Christ, as the body of Christ, we need to be ready to get out there to help our neighbors and be ready to not only spread His word, but His love, and care for folks through the devastation even after the storm has passed. So I encourage you all with that, because we have the one true God who is in our boat, who is directing the path, and who will calm this storm and will lead us through whatever devastation, whatever the consequences of this storm ends up being. So we can be joyful in that, we can be thankful, and let us just be ready to help our neighbors and to help our towns, our communities, and our states and our nation through whatever this storm leaves in its path. So with that, I thank you so much for joining me again, and please connect with us at New Hope North on Facebook at newhopenorthcc.com, or hashtag Pajama Pants Preaching, and can't wait to see you again. Until that time, may God bless you and keep you.